All right, then, considering we just completed chapter 12, let's check out this then. This has been something that people have mentioned a few times in my Discord and in chat. Let's watch it now then, shall we? The man that has beaten Arknights in one day. Well, kinda. Which is crazy to think of. Insane when I just think of like material farming and all that. So, I guess, let's see what this is all about then. Let's drop a preemptive like, and this is from Sesith. Let's see what's in this video then, man. I'm interested. I'm intrigued.
Arknights, one of the first gacha games to ever touch the tower defense genre. In this game, the strategy is way more important than the units that you have. To prove this, many content creators and people have a challenge account where they challenge themselves to make the game even harder for themselves. Some challenges are incredibly difficult, while some are easy. Usually in those kind of challenges,
I like it how a lot of people have secondary accounts for the challenge. A lot of people is like that to me. And don't get me wrong, we have a lot better of an account now to do what we're doing. But I like maxed sanity loss, and I was just like, fuck it. Let's do it out the gate on our main account as a new player. Why not? Kind of stupid when you think about it. People know.
Ban yourself a certain group of operators to make it more difficult for you.
I do still want to do this stuff though. I do want to do this.
You have to spend
like,
weeks.
I want to go back. I want to do particular hard stages with some particular challenges. We talked about like story stuff, lore stuff like that. I do want to do maybe some faction stuff if I've got enough characters to be able to do it. Some 4-star stuff. Like I do really want to try some niche night stuff out, man. I think it'll be a lot of fun. When I look at this sort of stuff, I'm like, yeah, I want to have a go at that. I want to see if I can do it.
Months or even years to max out everything the account has. And obviously, not everyone is a fan of that. But there is another way to challenge yourself. And that is racing against time. The person that took this to his heart is Hinabu.
But obviously,
is one of the most...
I know this might sound like super. It's got to be purely just skipping all story. Just stage, back to back, right?
Well-known speedrunner in the Yen community and also in the JP community. His dedication goes beyond everything I have seen so far. He is mostly known for his incredible CC runs. He creates a new account, and in one day with that new account, he beat that CC Risk 18. The most recent one we had, CC7. He also did run on this. It took him with a new account Risk 18 first week, not even 6 hours to beat Risk 18 with that account.
Yosh. Yosh. 危なかった。
Was that fucking...
Damn,
man. Less than 6 hours.
やりました。ああ。いやー。ありがとうございます。
But his previous achievements is not something that is relevant in this video. Because this is the story of a man that has beaten Arknights in one day.
Kinda. This stage, man. This took a couple of tries. This stage did.
Because he's the first person to ever attempt this. He was able to create the rules by himself. And the rules he made were, you have to start from a new account. Brand support is not allowed. Spending money is also not allowed. But the one thing that is allowed is having leaks. I personally don't know why he allowed leaks, but decided to ban friend support units. Because
I say yeah. I don't know this because like at that point it's like I would think, you know, it's arbitrary, like, but why not? Yeah, definitely. having leaks makes a big difference. Still incredibly impressive. Not fucking trying to take away from this at all, but like that is a game changer, actual game changer.
I feel like clearing everything without any leaks, but allowing friend support units would make things a lot easier. So I assume this is just another sign of his incredible dedication.
Suppose, yeah.
On the 23rd of January, he started his stream, knowing that this is not gonna be easy. Obviously, you can't beat something that is so incredibly hard without any preparations. He was aware that he needs certain units to make this possible.
Okay.
You can guess now what those units were. Exia, Blaze, Surtur, Chalter. No, none of all these. The only gacha operators that he needs to make this run happen are Chitano, Cardigan, Spot, Midnight, Catapult, and Myrtle. There are only 2 4-stars, and there are no 5-star beside Amiya, and no 6-star in the team.
Okay.
So it was time for rerolling.
Kind of insane.
In his first attempt, he didn't get a Chitano nor a Myrtle, so it was obvious he has to restart. In his third try, he was incredibly lucky. Out of the 6 gacha-only characters, there was only 1 he didn't get, and that was Catapult, a 3-star. Which meant this is gonna be the account. Throughout
That's pretty
the entire
lucky.
run, you will see at the bottom left corner the level of the units, the E1 level, and also the skill level of the units he uses. On the bottom right side, you will be able to see the doctor level he has, and at the top right, you will see the timestamps when he cleared what. And with that, the challenge was on. He started breezing through chapter 0 without any fails, and chapter 1 as well. The first 2 chapters were cleared in 1 hour and 6 minutes. This is faster than I was able to clear it when I tried to speedrun it as fast as possible. This already shows how much experience Hinabu has with new account speedruns. After this, Hinabu decided it's the best to farm the LS stages now, and he managed to clear LS1 and LS2. But LS3 was the first stage that gave him trouble. Hinabu came to the conclusion that it's better to farm LS2 where he already has a safe auto run instead of trying to beat LS3, which is not even guaranteed to be auto if he's able to clear it. By farming LS2, he is able to get some XP chips. Since their entire squad are low tier operators, it's necessary that they get a high level.
With the time limit as well, in what you're going to be able to farm is going to be massively reduced, right?
After that, Hinabu focuses on finishing little side quests. In the early game, you get a ton of materials by doing that. After collecting some of them, his next goal is to clear LS4. And the best way to do this is start with chapter 2, where he gets even more rewards to level his squad. Usually at chapter 2, you can clearly see the difference between the players that are doing this for the first time and players that have never done new account speedruns. This is where the most people start struggling, but not Hinabu. The first few stages were no problem for him, and after TR 12, he decided it's time once more to try LS3. And well, look at this. This time, he was more successful. Hinabu grinded LS3 for about 10 minutes, and then randomly decided to beat CE3, and that in an instance. First try, after that, back to LS3. Now the grind was on. LS3, 1.7, and all different kind of places. He was farming as good as he can.
Rocks.
Just to ensure that he can beat
Farm
LS4.
rocks.
He was also doing recruitments in the meantime. And this way, he finally got the last operator he needs.
Nice.
He got
quite
and after 2 hours and 30
lucky then,
minutes,
didn't he?
It finally happened. He was able to clear LS4, and with that, he had his main farming spot. Now what do you think? How long did he farm LS4? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? No. He farmed LS4 for the next 2 hours. While Hinabu is clearing chapter 2 with ease, let me explain you why Hinabu chose to bring 3 and 4 stars to the battle instead of 5 and 6 stars. If you look at a 3-star operator and compare the difference in resources they need to level them,
makes sense.
You can see a clear difference. How much more you would have to farm.
Makes sense, because that's the thing I'm thinking. Just like material acquisition in such a short period of time would just be insane. So going with some lower rarity, it makes sense, right?
To get a 6-star operator
logical.
to the same level than a 3-star operator. And because the time is limited, bringing 5 and 6 stars is just not an option if you really want to be quick. That is why it is so important that you make preparations beforehand, that you know which units you want and need for your strategies. Now with that, Hinabu managed to clear chapter 2. And guess what? He's going back to farming LS4. And that again for another 2 hours. And with that, level 25 has been reached.
The clear QOL now, the auto clear QOL now would have been a godsend.
Next up was 3.4 and 4.10. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, nothing really noteworthy happened. Hinabu managed to literally crush chapter 3. There were no fails, beside one fail in 3.8. The same thing goes for chapter 4. Beside the additional 3 hours grind he did. In chapter 4, he never really struggled until the Frost Nova stage. The problem with our little Frost Bunny is, the entire stage is an RNG fest, depending on your strategy.
I was going to say this at the start, when I saw him on this stage, I was thinking, ooh, this is a stage that can cook you in a sense, especially if you're on a time constraint purely based on the RNG of which tiles get destroyed. It can just destroy the run, right? Especially if you're using weaker units, and obviously at this point, then being E1 still, my roster was a lot weaker then, and a couple of runs were literally just destroyed by that, by being like, fuck, I'm totally cock blocked from these tiles here. So I can imagine this stage actually being a potential roadblock in regards to time.
His first run looked rather promising until the moment Frostnova blocked the tile for Malempha. After thinking about it for a bit, he chose to abandon this try and go with another one. In the next one, he did early on a little oopsie, so he had to restart again. And now was time for the third try. This time, RNG was a little bit kinder to him. Frostnova luckily didn't block a single tile he needed. And that kept the door open to use
You're just praying on this stage, and please don't hit that one tile.
Left to do to beat the stage. And that is activate the Malempha's skill. And with that, Frostnova has been erased from the map, and the stage is cleared. And now it's once more time for Hinabu's favorite stage, LS4. For about an hour, Hinabu grinded LMD, XP chips, skill summaries, and all kinds of stuff to make his squad ready for chapter 5. 5.1 is the stage that ended my run, when I did my 24-hour stream in Arknights how far I can go. And Hinabu managed to reach this in 12 hours and 20 minutes. 5.2 didn't pose any challenge to him, but the commonly known hard stage 5.3 did. After one failed attempt, he chose that the best thing is that he can do is level his operator just a little bit more. And for that, he beat CE5 and grinded on the stage. And after those minor upgrades, it was enough to beat 5.3. He managed to clear
was the
every
first all you it's a new player.
try.
Well, more like a garden fence. Skull Shatterer took me a couple of tries, actually. Did take me a couple of tries. Yeah. Can't remember how many tries now, actually. I know, it was only for a little bit.
Until 5.7. This stage was the hardest for him yet. He never failed.
This is the one I was talking about earlier. This is, when I was talking about stages, when I was on about like moments in the game where I'd really had to like rethink what I was doing. This was the stage I was talking about. This was the one that like, it was that last bit trying to stop that one drone. Like it was a bitch, man. This genuinely was a little bit of a roadblock for me. This stage was.
It was the hardest for him yet. He never failed a stage as many times as this one. After a heartbreaking try where he almost cleared it, he was able to pull off an insanely clean
that last drone, man, it kept fucking me.
Any mistakes. And that way the annoying 5.7 stage has been cleared. With 5.3 and 5.7 out of the way, the hardest stages in chapter 5 have been cleared. And now only Mephisto and Faust remain. And oh boy, was this a fight. Hinabu had many extremely close calls. For example here with one
these big guys stunning your units, yeah.
league, Faust barely having any HP, just went out of the range of Amiya. he decided to not continue this run, even though I believe it would have been possible to beat it. After this close call, another 2 attempts, and they finally managed to get this run.
Fair play. This was a cool stage as well. This was a cool stage run. I enjoyed this. Took me a moment to get to grips with, bro. Really did. This was like when it first started to, for me, to be like how important getting those last units down, you know, to take the hits and to take the hits off other units, to keep particular units alive, to be willing to let units kind of become sacrificial lambs to make sure other units stay on field.
With Mephisto and Force Speed,
Cruise the goat, man.
now
Cruise the
time.
goat. Yeah, deployment order matters a lot. Like, that's one thing I am still terrible with, is my deployment order. Like sometimes I get it down to a T, but I'm just so inconsistent with it. So inconsistent with it.
To go back to Legend.
But like that's where you're starting to get into the game where it is starting to learn now. It's like, look, man, you need to be on top of this. Otherwise, you're going to find things a lot more difficult than you would otherwise.
Stage of CE5. This is now a good time to explain you guys how Hinabu is able to farm through the entire day without having to spend any money. Usually when you do a run like this, you will get a lot of Irregular Primes, and you don't use the Primes for pulls. You solely use them to do sanity refreshes. And this way, you shouldn't run out of sanity. And if you do, you just go back to old stages and clear the challenge mode of them. And this way, you will always have enough Irregular Prime. Another thing to do is beating Annihilation. If you get to 400 kills, you get a lot of materials that are really helpful, that boost your progress immense. But getting 400 kills in Annihilation 2 with an account that is barely 15 hours old is certainly no easy task. But for Hinabu it was. He was actually able to beat it in his very first try, all 400 kills.
Fair play.
After collecting the juicy materials that he got from beating Annihilation 2, he was ready to take on Chapter 6. This chapter has exactly 3 really difficult stages, 6.5, 6.11, and the last...
Yeah, speaking of new accounts, I guess, what's his name? Shah, live. Reldon shared it in the Discord yesterday, and I asked everybody to check it out, because I was watching the football, I couldn't watch. How was the new experience going? Because new doctor, right? New player.
Stage with Frost Nova, 6.16. Hinabu managed to beat the first stages before 6.5 without any leaks nor fails. On 6.5 though, he made a small mistake, and it lost him 1 try, but he was able to beat it on the second. Once again, no fails until 6.11, but this stage is known for being extremely hard and annoying.
Ooh, despite... You know what? It took me a couple of times, but I don't ever remember this being a massive roadblock for me. It definitely a stage where it was like, okay, game's starting to definitely step things up now. Game is definitely starting to step things up now. But yeah, this one I don't remember being a major roadblock for me.
And so it was for him. He failed many times on 6.11. Some attempts were close, while some were maybe not so much. But to be honest, it's understandable. I personally believe 6.11 is one of the hardest stages throughout the entire story. I heard of many players that also got stuck there.
Was it because of Lappy? Yeah, standard Lappy is great for it, right, with the silence.
Hours old account doesn't make it easier. Hinabu started his run with Myrtle and Cruz. This way he was able to kill 1 spider to place down Fang. Next up was Midnight. He is the perfect unit to support Fang, but also able to hold the lane by himself. While this is happening, he's using 12F to get rid of the remaining spiders. With the help of Malantha and some healers, she was able to take down 1 caster.
50 minutes on TRS2. What about the infamous one? What about 15? He's got Wishadel. Oh shit, okay. Story skipper. Oh my god.
And now only 1 was left. But one cast alone doesn't deal enough damage to kill one unit. And now with that, he is set to place everything he needs to beat the stage. Fang and Midnight got taken out for Beagle and Spot. And now there's only one threat remaining. And that's the drone.
No!
Well, to be honest, leaking
The pain you see when you see a drone doing that, man. It's just like, oh my god. You know, when you pull everything off, you're like, I'm doing so well. I've got it down. And then you just watch that one drone just chugging along and you're like, fuck, I forgot about the drone.
the drone seemed like the better idea. He is not planning to farm the stage, and taking it down with that squad seems like a max risk challenge. But with that done, he managed to clear the stage and is one step closer to the Snow Bunny stage. As you may have guessed, the stages to get to Frosty weren't really that difficult. He did have 1 or 2 fails and 1 or 2 leaks, but
yeah, I
the
remember
only
leaking a couple of times on this
reason why he
stage.
wants to 3-star stage is to get a Ring of Prime. Since half of his squad has reached max level, he doesn't have...
When I think about it as well, throughout my watch of the game, pardon me, don't get me wrong, I've had a decent amount of fails, like fail stages. And they probably would have gone on to be fails. But like most of mine have been leak, quit the stage kind of thing, you know what I mean? Rather than just getting flooded and just totally failing. When I think about it, because obviously me having this thing of I have to 3-star everything, which is still the only stage that I still need to go back and 3-star the Shield Guys one, which I might actually go back. I might even just chuck gold in just to make it get that one. Yeah, and I'm thinking about it like, because obviously a leak, obviously in this sort of run, it's not a fail because obviously this is insane to be doing this anyway. To put that further challenge on top would just be ridiculous. Yeah, when I'm thinking about it, like, you know, because obviously a fail's different to a leak, innit? It's technically the same thing if you want a 3-star, but, you know, you can pass a stage while leaking.
To farm that much anymore. Most 3-stars are max level. Some 4-stars are still EU0, but that's because they don't need to be higher. The only thing left to upgrade are skill levels. After beating the appetizers, it was time for the main meal, Yelena, the one and only. And yes, Hinabu was prepared for her. Even though he failed his run due to badly timed gravel, on his second run he chose to bring Merle instead.
Okay.
With Merle, he was able to get enough DP to place Noir Corner and Hibiscus in time. And his plan was to stall the beautiful girl as long as possible.
Okay.
And luckily
that's kind of similar to what I was doing. That was like my thing there. It didn't end up holding, like there was no permanent stall, but that was my plan actually. Okay.
Was kind to him.
I'm only attaching to that because it's just like, you know, this is obviously a really good player. So I'm like, hey, I tried a thing that was similar to a really good player.
While he was stalling her, he was trying to kill every enemy on the field before she even got a chance to kill him. And he was very successful with it. She was the only one left on the field now. And there is one last mission to carry out. And that is to kill Frost Nova. He certainly had the chance to do that, but he chose to not to. He did not only beat the stage, he also gave my NPC waifu the greatest present he could have given her. A life. The stage was beaten, and she was free. That is a true victory.
Based. I can't help but watch this stage now and just think of Starlight and then the bunny meme in The Last of Us.
And now it's time to move on to chapter 7. This one is for sure an interesting chapter. The stages are rather hard if you don't brute force them, unless you have a really good strategy. Going blind into them with that kind of squad would certainly take hours upon hours. But since Hinabu was prepared, it didn't.
Those dudes
Many
are
of the normal
bitch.
stages were not a problem, but 7.4 was. I myself remember it as one of the hardest stages of chapter 7,
metal chuckers.
even though it's not even marked as a red stage. Figuring out the start is usually the main difficulty of this stage, which did make him lose
Struggling
one
to
round.
remember this stage.
Another attempt he lost was very close to the end. Chitana was stunned and 12F wasn't dealing enough damage. Sadly, 2 enemies leaked through there, and that was exactly enough for him to fail the stage. In the very next attempt, he used the exact same strategy, but this time he was able to kill the 3rd block enemy just in time, It was very damn close.
Yeah, dude, I
But you
love those
luckily
moments. You know, when you're just about to overwhelm your block count and you kill, like, literally sometimes they're about to step onto the next tile and then it's like, bam, boom, you manage to lock them in. Satisfying.
And thanks to that, 7.4 was cleared. The road to 7.18 was open again. There were some minor stepping stones, like 7.5 and 7.9, which he both failed once. Which is still really impressive considering what his team
Yeah, I remember
looked
this
like.
age.
The next commonly known hurdle is 7.16. This is the stage with the heavy defender dudes. This stage gave even my max level no gacha account some trouble. But with the right strat and the godlike gameplay, he was able to even clear that stage with his squad. And now with that beaten, it was time to reunite Patriot with his daughter. Patriot is the main problem on this stage.
Okay,
So he
I'm
dealt with
curious
the
to see.
problem the way I handle my problems. Ignoring them. If leaks are allowed, there's no point in trying to kill him.
Alright.
This is so far the only stage I think he benefits from the rules that he is allowed to leak instead of bringing friend support. With mines and the
I
meta
don't know.
unit from friend support.
Personally, for me, like, take the friend support thing out of it. Having the ability to leak, massive plus, right? In terms of, like, allowing you to be like, okay, we'll let that one slide, you know? We'll let that fly. Because stages like Patriot would definitely be a lot harder, because then just ignore him, concentrate on everybody else, you're good to go. You know what I mean?
I am very sure it would have been possible to beat him. But this just saved him a lot.
Saying that now, though, does he have to phase to him? Does he have to phase to him? Or no, he wouldn't, would he? Like, because he's got a kill gate, yeah. So, if you just leak, does that just open the kill gate? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. But like with Patriot, like the second wave doesn't come until he gets downed, right? Am I correct in that now? I'm trying to think back. Or him just leaking, would that just kick that off anyway? In terms of the enemy spawns, you know what I mean? They come after he leaks, yeah. Okay.
Of hassle. The rest of the stage wasn't really a problem without Patriot in it. And with that, he wasn't united with his daughter, but the stage was beaten. And now it is time for the last part
wasn't reunited
of
with his
this
daughter, you
insane
know.
journey. And that, my friends, is Chapter 8. But this chapter is on a whole nother level.
Yep.
There are many maps which are just brutal.
Yep.
And not just that, in this chapter you have to protect
So chapter 8
civilians.
does have, like, a shit ton of stages where it's just like, what were they cooking up, man?
And we all hate them, right? First was R8-1, a normal stage with nothing special to it, a first try without any leaks from Hinabu. R8-2 was next, and this was the first stage with civilians. But again, first try, no leaks. R8-3, R8-4 and R8-5, all of them, first try,
This was a fun stage.
no leaks. And then R8-6 came, and this was the first time he failed in this chapter. Second try though, clear without any leaks. R8-7, another fail, but again on the second try, a clear without any leaks. R8-8 was up next, a stage that took me many attempts on my no gacha account. First attempt, fail. Second attempt, fail. Third attempt, fail. The reason why the stage was being so damn hard, he did not only had to protect Tallulah, which is insanely hard enough by itself, he also had to take care of the big drones, which is certainly not easy with that squad. On the fourth attempt,
For me,
it looked absolutely amazing. He even managed to get Tallulah into the blue box. But sadly, the last drone, with a third of its HP, it managed to leak through, and it was the first leak that he had on a stage in
That was the first time I come close to beating it. I leaked that drone just like that. This, for me, I loved this stage. This stage was incredibly designed. I think still one of the most impressive designs on stages in the game, at least in the story. Just the complexity, the amount of moving parts. Obviously, if you were coming into it a little bit more with like just insane characters to brute force it, maybe it wouldn't be so much. But like the amount of trial and error we had to do for this stage, it was crazy. It was so much fun and one of the most satisfying stages to clear. Just such great design. Yo, Ken, what's up, dude? Just such great design. And as I say, it wasn't just a singular mechanic where it's like, oh, this is a really fun mechanic and we can play around with it. It was just a multitude of things, right? It's like a multifaceted level. There's just so many things going on in the stage that if you are, as like, you know, I was coming from I guess a more niche angle, obviously being underpowered, it was just so enjoyable to try and unlock all those puzzles. It was like that quintessential stage in Arknights where I say, you start off and you're like, I ain't got a fucking clue. I'm fumbling around in the dark for the light switch. And then you slowly start to put pieces on the board, and then, you know, you figure out a particular section. Okay, I've got that. Now what do I do with the rest of it? You know what I mean? And you're kind of like solving it almost in quadrants, aren't you? And for me, it was such an enjoyable thing to do. I've really enjoyed this.
Chapter 8. M86 was up next, and we were back to first try with no leaks.
Warframe later. That's the plan. As long at the minute, because the road works and by Rose's work, it takes me so long to get in and out of her work. So as long as I'm not back too late, and obviously eating tea late, the plan is to. I was stuck there for ages again yesterday.
Grade 9 was once again a very difficult stage. 3 fails.
This stage is invisible timers done right. Exactly. Agree as well. That is how you add a timer into a thing, a stage, without it literally being, oh, I'm fighting the timer at the top of the screen. Yeah, agree. Done so well.
Very close to the end, but on the 4th try, he managed to execute his strategy and cleared the stage. But for this one, with leaks. R8-10, first try, no leaks. M8-7, first try, 1 leak. R8-11, first try,
such a breezing to say.
but he had to let Tallulah die to clear it. And with that, it was time for M88, the Mephisto stage. This stage is special though. Mephisto itself is not the only problem on this stage. Just leaking him doesn't give you an automatic win. There are Sarka Centurions and in-range possessed soldiers that can easily wipe your team, even if it's over-leveled. Hinabu starts off.
This for me wasn't too much of a problem. I think having an underwhelming damage can potentially be a positive for this stage, right?
With a clean Sicilian defense. On this stage, already the first 22 enemies are crazy strong, and just surviving them is hard enough. But somehow Hinabu managed to pull it off.
See, I just went with major healing crossover.
Suicide. He doesn't give 2 thoughts about it to let him leak. With him out of the way, it's time to deal with the Sarka Centurions. For that, he uses Catapult to get rid of the first one. As soon as the first is gone, he can place down Midnight. While Catapult is attacking the 2 Centurions below, Midnight is able to take down the last one. Not long after the Centurions are dead, a shower of enemies trying to run them over. This part is extremely hard to survive without any good healers or tanks. After Beagle died, he had to rely 100% on Cardigan. And even though there were some close calls, she somehow managed to survive. Now, only 1 wave was left. He chose to switch out Cardigan for Beagle, which ended up being the right call. Thanks to her skills, she managed to survive them, even though there were some close calls in it.
I love Beagle, I do.
And now with that, only 1 enemy is left, and M88 was beaten. And this after 20 hours, 22 minutes and 47 seconds. If you watch closely on the top right, this is the last timestamp in this run. This is because Chapter 9 wasn't out when this run was performed.
Okay.
And since Amiya needs to be E2 to make progress from here on, it was for him the last to beat. Making Amyai 2 is something that would take another few hours to do. And he himself said, as soon as a fast way of Ituing her is discovered, he will erase this category and start doing attempts at a JT3 run. But until that is discovered, we have to wait for a little bit. And this was the story of a man that has
I would have
beaten
loved to have seen
Arknights
JT8 3.
in one day. Kinda.
JT8 2
I
and
really,
JT8
really
3.
hope you enjoyed this video. Making documentaries is super fun, but it takes so much time. And because it was my second documentary I ever made, it was a little bit rough around the edges. But I really hope you had a great time watching it. And if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out a lot. And please don't forget to check out Hinabu's channel. He's an amazing content creator. Please leave a like and subscribe.
Bro, is this plus minus his alt account? He says he's just plus minus in disguise. Or the other way around. All those body
It really
pillows.
helps the channel out a lot. And please don't forget to check out Hinabu's channel. He's an amazing content creator. His runs are absolutely incredible to watch. And I feel like he deserves way more attention than he gets. And once again, thanks you so much for letting me use your footage. Hontou ni arigatou gozaimasu. And with that said, guys, I wish you all a nice morning, a nice evening, and bye bye, Smesai. Have a good one, and see
What a run. What a run. Actually crazy. Insane. You know? Again, still to this day, seeing people do things in this game that's just incredible. And one of... I just noticed as well, bro's got a massive fucking gripper figurine here, just a big ass foot. But yeah, it's another thing that just shows what makes Arknights so good, that you can do all these numerous challenges that for most other games in this genre you just can't do. Right? You just can't do. There's challenges that you can do in like Wooers and Genshin and ZZZ and all this sort of stuff. But like, they're limited, right? The variety, you know, it's, you can only do so much. And I'm not saying there isn't cool stuff in those games to do. Just the variety with, Arknights. It's, once again, it's a beacon of the design of the core element of the game from the ground up, which has allowed all of this to be possible. And I know it's a bit of an unfair comparison to look at a really well-designed tower defense game, which in itself kind of is a poor way to describe it, because it's much more than a tower defense game, which I know people will snort at that who haven't played the game. But then when you play it, you're like, shit, it is much more than that, right? That allows for that amount of ways to play the game. It's incredible, and these sort of things are just testament to that amazing game design. Right, as I say, finishing chapter 12 now, I have come to the conclusion Arknights for me isn't just the best gacha game. It's genuinely a good game and a good gaming experience. And I know that sounds, well, games like Wuthering Waves, good game, right? But I wouldn't put Wua up there as like games that have had an impact on me. You know, like I was saying earlier, with the Fallout 3s, the Final Fantasy 9s, the Mass Effect 2s, the Metal Gear Solids, the Witcher 3s, the Dragon Age Origins. You know, those sort of games. I'm kind of like I'm putting Arknights up there now with that sort of title. It's not on the levels of impact for me of something like Final Fantasy 9 or something like Mass Effect 2, because they're just like, you know, that is the peak of peak video games for me in my life. I'm telling you though, Arknights ain't that far behind, man. You know, Arknights is not that far behind. It's an incredible video game. It really is, which is so insane for me to say, because as I say, I don't fuck with tower defense. I don't fuck with tower defense, but this game was made so well that it's made me a tower defense believer. Well, I don't even know if it has. It's just Arknights is that good. It goes above and beyond tower defense. I guess that's what I'm saying, right? It just does. It just does. It goes above and beyond. What do you mean, bro? The bike didn't change your life? Well, I should have combed all over the place when really. But yeah, man. I think it's that good. I think it's that good. Like, usually, I don't tend to compare gacha games with non-gacha games. And not just because they're gacha games, so that means they're trash. I just don't. Like, and it's usually fundamentally because the gameplay and the story is hindered to some degree because of the model, the live service, and the monetary system, right? But Arknights, and still has some issues like that in regards to, you know, farming and lockouts on certain days and stuff like that, and obviously having to wait for patches, of course. But as somebody who hasn't had to do that, has just been able to play through it, it's enhanced that experience for me. That's probably another reason why it's really, really been moved up the list of games for me. Yeah, best gacha game ever, in my opinion. It is straight up, honestly. And I hope Enfield becomes my best gacha game ever, because obviously I want games to keep being better, but I don't know if it will. And that's coming from somebody who fucking loves Arknights Enfield, right? But we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind in a 12 months time. But yeah, I think it is best gacha game ever, and I don't even think it's close either. That's how good it is. Yeah, great video, man. Great video. We've watched one of this video before, haven't we? But this was a good one. Old video, but still golden.